So many of us are looking out into the environment for something which will make us happier. We don't find that happiness out there because actually that happiness lies at the silent level of the mind, and the mind, given the opportunity, will go in the direction of that silence. With TM we use a mantra. The mantra is not something on which we focus or concentrate on to try and still the mind. It's actually something on which we rest our attention. So we rest our attention on the mantra, and it allows the mind to spontaneously, naturally settle into silence. When the mind settles down, the body can't help but settle in response to that. And what we get very naturally as a result of this meditation is that we get a profound level of rest, a deep level of rest. The research indicates that the rest that we get during meditation is more than twice as deep as simply resting with our eyes closed. It's even deeper than the rest that we get during sleep at night. That deep rest is what allows the body to start releasing all its accumulated stresses. That stress in the physiology is what's been getting in the way of us achieving our full potential. It's been what's causing our mental and physical health problems. This stress has accumulated as a result of the fight-flight response. The body pulls all its resources together to most effectively allow us to either fight a situation or to run away so that we can survive. So the heart rate will increase, the muscles will tense, fats and sugars will release into the blood to create energy, digestive system will shut down, reproductive system will be suppressed at that moment. So any systems in the body we don't need at that moment will be suppressed. All the body's resources goes into fighting or fleeing. There'll be all sorts of chemical changes in the brain. The amygdala, the emotion centre of the brain, will be on active, heightened alert. It's a fear response. There's nothing wrong with the fight-flight response. We need that response. What we don't need is for stress to be left in the body as a result. And what happens is if we don't allow the body enough rest and recovery time, impressions will begin to be stored. So for example, where the muscles have been tense, they may remain tense, or where the heart rate has been increased, it may remain faster, or where fats and sugars have released into the blood, they may start to clog the arteries if they're not allowed to be dissolved, or the digestive system may remain shut down, or reproductive system remains affected, or the amygdala, the emotion centre of the brain, remains on heightened alert, and we may feel some anxiety. The deep level of rest that we get during meditation is the exact physiological opposite to that fight-flight response. As that stress starts to dissolve through the meditation process, our responses to situations become calmer, more efficient. There's an inner calmness. So this is where we start to see all the improvements in our everyday lives, because at the root of all those problems in life is that stress in the physiology. So as that stress starts to release, it starts to clear the way for more energy, more creativity. As that tension dissolves, our relationships improve, we start to feel calmer, we start to deal with these challenging situations more easily. There's a belief that many people have that they need stress to be able to function, they need stress to be able to meet deadlines or to work efficiently. But actually stress gets in the way of us. We need challenge, that's a different thing. Challenges in the environment are good for us. Yeah, we can, challenge is there to stimulate us, and we can respond to those challenges. But as we start to meditate and have that inner calmness, we can respond to situations, but respond with calmness and clarity, rather than responding with fear and that fight-flight reactive response. This is what happens as we begin to meditate and we dissolve the stress. We start to perceive things in a different way. All sorts of different experiences can come up during meditation itself, but the reason why we come to learn to meditate is for the results that we get out in activity. So this is where we place the importance. It doesn't matter what experience we have coming up during the meditation itself. What's important is the results that we start to see out in activity. So it's very common for people to start to see calmness, clarity of thoughts coming through. Even in challenging situations coming up in their everyday lives, out in activity, they start to respond less with that fight-flight response, but respond in a calmer, more settled way, which makes their action more effective. They find themselves more productive at work, in all their activities. The relationships start to improve. They start to see an energy coming through. Mental health, physical health, feeling more relaxed, a decrease in anxiety or depression are very common experiences. People come to learn to meditate for all sorts of reasons, whether it's artists or film directors or actors who are looking for more creativity and inspiration. Many people come to learn for health reasons, whether it's physical health or mental health, anxiety, depression, the effects of trauma, heart problems, migraines, problems with sleep, all these things people come to learn for. Some people feel that they're generally well, they don't have a particular health problem, but they're aware that they're not quite functioning at their optimum level. One concern that people have when they come to learn to meditate is that they're not going to have time to fit in the 20 minutes twice a day that we recommend in TM. What people find is that because TM is so easy, effortless and natural, we can actually meditate anywhere. So this helps us to fit it more easily into our daily routine. So many people will meditate on the bus or the train or the tube on the way to work or on the way back from work. Some people may find a quiet space in the office to go and meditate. In TM we become more mindful, not as a result of training the mind to be in the present moment, as with other techniques. Now, this is a great thing to do, but with TM we're transcending, going beyond that relatively surface level of the mind and settling into silence. And as a result of that, we're more in the present moment. The mind isn't racing off into all these thoughts all over the place, thinking about yesterday and tomorrow and frantic activity. The mind becomes more settled, and we start to, when the mind becomes more settled out in activity, that allows for a clarity of thought. Now, there's not so much clutter going on. So through TM, when we use the mantra to turn the attention inward, to allow the mind to settle down into silence, we find the mind wants to settle down naturally and spontaneously and effortlessly into silence. Trying to force the mind to settle into silence is a bit like trying to force a river to flow downstream, and the river is naturally flowing downstream towards the sea, and we don't have to force it to go in that direction. We just allow it to flow. And given the opportunity, the mind will naturally flow in the direction of that silence, which is that field of greater happiness.